It's here. Hockey is back. It's the regular season tonight. The Blue Jackets are playing their first of 82 games. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the lineup, and we're going to talk about goaltending because that feels like it could be a big problem. That's all coming up today on Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, updates, reviews, previews, all of the above, and more about your favourite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and also over on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed over there, I did not hit my 250 subscribers goal by opening night, but I'm super close. So if you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you will get notified whenever I have a new episode out. So it helps you, it helps me, everybody wins. So let's talk about tonight. The Blue Jackets playing the Carolina Hurricanes. The Columbus Blue Jackets are playing the Carolina Hurricanes in the Hurricanes season opener, home opener, I should say. It's also the season opener for the Blue Jackets. And what we thought was going to be a pretty standard lineup means all of the work that I did looking at lineups and everything is kind of obsolete because Elvis Merzlikins is out tonight due to illness. So Daniil Tarasov, who hasn't made a start since the last time he played the Hurricanes in January, I believe, which was when he broke everything in his hip and was done for the season. He'll be making his first opening night start, only his fourth ever NHL start, I believe, so super excited for him. But it does kind of throw a wrench in the plans of the Blue Jackets, who I think wanted to come out strong. They wanted to come out strong with Elvis. Having Korpisalo start the season on injured reserve as well is not great. He's still not 100% after that hip surgery he had in the offseason. And I think had they known that Merzlikins was going to be ill tonight, they maybe would not have put Jonas Korpisalo on injured reserve. I think possibly he might have played, but then that could have made everything worse, hit him out for longer. So as I don't want to use the word worrying because I'm not worried, but it's as unideal as it is to play your third string goaltender in the season opener. It can only go up from here, right? Tarasov played really well last season in the 3 games worth of time that he played. I think he had 2 full games, 1 20-minute relief period, and 2 periods against the Hurricanes before he left with an injury. So we'll see. I guess is the only thing we can say. I have a good feeling. About Tarasov. Like I said, I really liked him last season. I think he held himself really well, and hopefully he's been working hard. He's looked really good in preseason as well. I've really liked Tarasov's game in preseason. It'll be interesting to see if that continues on into the regular season, since he's making his first start way sooner than anyone expected. I know I was, if not the last episode, then the episode before, talking about how we might not see Tarasov until the second or third game of the season. The Blue Jackets have a back-to-back at the weekend, so hopefully Elvis is feeling better for then. But I don't think anyone was expecting to see Tarasov so early. And it could be, we could be looking at football scores tonight, folks. The Hurricanes are playing, I assume, they are going to be playing Freddie Anderson, who's their starting goalie. Antti Raanta, perfectly capable backup. I've really liked Ranta's game for a long time, but I assume that because season opener, home opener, they'll probably be playing Freddie Anderson, who had a really good season last season. So that's, again, not ideal, but it could be worse. I am thinking about Vegas, who are going into the season with Logan Thompson as their starter because they ran Fleury out of town and then broke Robin Lehner, and I believe Robin Lehner's backup is also broken. So they are going with Logan Thompson, their AHL guy. So that's where the goalie situation is. It's likely going to be Tarasov versus Anderson. Kind of an unbalanced matchup, but it could go either way. I think it could be fun. I wouldn't be surprised if Tarasov goes out and has the game of his life, frankly. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But first, I've got to tell you about SimpliSafe, because the numbers don't lie. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen SimpliSafe home security to protect their home. You don't earn the trust of that many people without doing something right, because at SimpliSafe, your safety is the only thing that matters. They protect you with cutting-edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back. They've got, you can control your... The thing about SimpliSafe is the technology is so advanced. You can control everything in the system from your phone with the app. They've got crystal clear HD live stream of all of your security cameras. They've got a wide variety of high-tech sensors. And like I said, they've got a 24/7 monitoring agent and some really excellent tech support staff. With that 24/7 professional monitoring, SimpliSafe's agents call you the moment a threat is detected. They dispatch police or first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home or can't be reached. It blankets your home in protection. They've got advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and outside your home. They've got smarter ways to detect motion that alert you when a threat is real, and they've even got hazard sensors that detect floods, fires, and other threats to your home, which I think is super cool. So, customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. You can save 20% on your first SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan, and you get your first month free. Once again, that is simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl to learn more. There is no safe like SimpliSafe. And I feel pretty safe with Tarasov in goal, frankly. I think especially looking at the likely lineup that the Blue Jackets are going with, frankly, the worst case scenario here is that the Blue Jackets just have to kind of outscore all of their problems, which is a solution that worked mostly for the Florida Panthers all of last season. But with Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau on that top line, I'm expecting some fun hockey, if not particularly good. I think many goals are going to be scored tonight, probably by both teams. Like I said in the first segment, I would be surprised if there is a football score happening in this game. So, Laine, Gaudreau, Boone Jenner in between those two guys, which is the line that I have predicted. I think Boone Jenner has... If not... Boone Jenner is not a first-line center. I don't think anyone's arguing that, but I have been saying since the Gaudreau trade happened, or the Gaudreau signing happened, that they don't need an elite center to play between those two guys. If you have two elite wingers, then all you need is a guy that is acceptable. And Boone Jenner wins faceoffs. Boone Jenner wins board battles. Boone Jenner throws his weight around, and is a really great, I've talked about it all offseason, main characters versus supporting characters. Boone Jenner is a really great supporting character, especially for the kind of game that Laine and Gaudreau play. I'm expecting him to start off with the puck, and then all he has to do is get it to Gaudreau, and Gaudreau can basically just pass it to whoever he wants. Probably Laine, potentially even, we saw in the game in the preseason, he tried passing it to Laine, it bounced back to him, and then ended up passing it to Zach Werenski for the, I think, 6-0 goal against St. Louis. It's all the center has to do on that line is win a face-off and get the puck to Johnny Gaudreau, and then his work is done, and he can just kind of not sit back and relax, but he can play, I think, a more defensive role than many first-line centers are required to. Let me kind of break that down a little bit for you, because I feel like that's kind of counterintuitive. I think a top-line center is expected to be able to produce. I mean, even you look at guys like Patrice Bergeron, who's one of the best defensive forwards in the game and has been for, close to a decade and a half, if not longer. I think that Boone Jenner can play even more of a defensively responsible role than Bergeron, just because he's not going to be required to put up the points that Bergeron is. I think if you can get, I think Boone Jenner is going to feast on secondary assists this season. I don't think that's the hot take. I think he's going to get a lot of the secondary assists on the Laine Gaudreau combo, just by dint of being there and being the guy to start off the transition. He's pretty good in his transition play. Like I said, he's not going to be bullied. He's willing to throw the weight around. He kind of crashes and bangs. And I know some people thought that maybe Jack Roslovic was the right person to be on that line. He had a really great finish to the season after, not an only okay, first 50 or 60 games. But I genuinely think Jenner is the guy that belongs in that spot. I know I was joking a couple of weeks ago about wanting Kent Johnson in that spot. Maybe someday. Kent Johnson is, I believe, he got sent down to Cleveland on an emergency basis or a short-term loan. I believe just because they had to call up a goalie. So they've sent him down, called up a goalie for cap reasons, I think, or I'm not sure. But he is down in Cleveland at the minute. I would expect him to not even bother going to Cleveland. I think he's probably with the team in Carolina, frankly. And it's just a paper move to make room for Jet Greaves, who is going to be on the bench tonight. I don't think we'll see Jet Greaves in this game. But hey, the stranger things have happened. In a minute, we're going to take a quick look at the Hurricanes, how their offseason went, and maybe we'll bring back Jay's terrible, always wrong predictions, because I had fun being extremely wrong last season. So that's coming up in a minute on Locked on Blue Jackets. We're going to be talking all things Carolina Hurricanes. Welcome back to Locked on Blue Jackets. We're going to talk a little bit about the Carolina Hurricanes, because they sure are a team that exists that the Blue Jackets are going to be playing tonight. For the most part, this is a team that is functionally the same as they were last season. They haven't really lost any huge names. I believe, obviously, the departure of Nino Niederreiter to Nashville is more of an emotional loss for the fan base than an on-ice loss. And they also lost Vincent Trocheck, who went to, I want to say New York, but I might be wrong about that. I might be making that up. But they lost Nino Niederreiter, they lost Vincent Trocheck, and in return they picked up Brent Burns from San Jose, which is he is still a defenseman in the NHL. No, the thing about Brent Burns is, and I think he's a guy that I think will benefit from having sheltered minutes. He doesn't have to be that number one guy in Carolina. He doesn't have to be that guy. He can just be a guy that plays on the power play, a guy that is not going to get those top line minutes. He's going to play probably on the second or third pairing and will not have to be responsible for, carting the entire team's defensive core around on the one working leg that he has. I think he's probably going to be good for the team. I don't think he's going to be a game changer, but I think he will be just fine for Carolina. Like I said, they don't need him to be the guy. They just need him to be a guy, and I think he's probably going to be pretty good at being a guy. And also, if he plays lower down in the lineup, there's less chance that he's going to have to be defensively responsible, which means he can just go ahead and do his Brent Burns thing, which is kind of starfish in front of the goal, and then go and be a forward. The other big addition for the Hurricanes is Max Pacioretty, who I had fully forgotten about until I was doing my research for this episode, and I was like, oh yeah, they sure did pick him up for, what was it, like future considerations from Vegas, which is just bonkers. Just a fully bananas situation. However, he's not going to be in the lineup tonight or in many lineups, because I believe he's out until like January at least. But it's that's just such a good piece of work by the Carolina Hurricanes to take Max Pacioretty, who I believe is making $7 million for the next few years, which is not a lot of money for, especially if they can get Max Pacioretty back healthy and, doing Pacioretty things. But just a really nice piece of work there from the Carolina Hurricanes. The other things is about the Hurricanes is it looks like they're waiting for one of Martin Necas or Jesperi Kotkaniemi to take a jump into that next level and to be a player that is not. I don't think they're looking for a guy to be the next Jordan Staal, but they're definitely looking for a guy that can take a jump and can take that next step in their development to be a legitimate top six option. Obviously, the offer sheet. Obviously, the offer sheet with Kotkaniemi was all, fun and games. They paid him more money than they probably should have done for that first year. Now he's on a much more reasonable and team-friendly deal, but I still think they're expecting him to maybe make a slightly bigger jump this season. Because, hey, they took a flyer on him, former third overall pick. I don't think he's as good as the $6 million he was being paid last season. I think he's probably slightly better than the money he's being paid this season. So, crossing my fingers for Kotkaniemi to pick up his development and maybe take a step forward, just maybe not in this game. I think the only other departure for the Hurricanes of note is Tony DeAngelo is gone. He has finished his redemption tour and is being paid a frankly obscene amount of money by the Philadelphia Flyers, so he is not an issue with the Carolina Hurricanes anymore. But beyond the, like I said, departures of Niederreiter, Trocheck, and DeAngelo, mostly the same team that was there last season that spent most of the time they playing Columbus, beating the brakes off them. So not super excited that this is a game that we're going to start the season off with, but there are definitely worse teams to face. And like I said, maybe Tarasov will surprise us. Maybe Gaudreau and Laine will just work some magic. Again, I think they looked really, really good in preseason. I'm expecting big things from them this season. I think literally everyone is, but it would be nice if they could start off strong. A couple of Laine goals would be nice. Maybe a little 3-point night from Gaudreau. Let's I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully you are crossing yours as well. And I guess I'll make a prediction. God, this feels like one of those games that's going to be like 6-5 in overtime. And I think Carolina probably wins it. But man, I really want Columbus to. Obviously, I want Columbus to win all of their games, but I do like it when they win their divisional matchups. I don't like giving divisional matchups loser points or pity points, or, I believe overtime points is the technical correct term. But yeah, I think that's my prediction. My prediction is going to be 6-5 in overtime. Carolina wins over the Blue Jackets, but I do think Johnny Gaudreau has a 3-point night. I think Laine gets a couple of goals. And, who's going to score the first goal? The first Columbus goal. Honestly, it's going to be someone bonkers. It's going to be like, gosh, I don't know. It's going to be like Jack Roslovic. Or maybe like Jake Bean is going to score the opening goal. Like those. Jake Voracek. Why not? Let's go crazy. Jake Voracek is my pick to score the opening goal in this season. In this game. So that's everything from me today. I will be back either later tonight or early tomorrow with another episode breaking down tonight's game, hopefully breaking down a win, but if not, I'm sure the loss will give us just as much to talk about. I've been Jay Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find this podcast at LO_Blue Jacket. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. Thank you once again for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked on Blue Jackets continues to be free and available on all podcast platforms. You're never going to have to get behind a paywall to access a Locked On product. That is our promise to you. So enjoy the game tonight. I know I'm going to. Blue Jackets hockey is finally back. I'm so excited. Even if they lose tonight, I'm still super excited. And we'll talk all about it on tomorrow's episode. So until then, make sure you stay locked on.